And this is what we have to understand. If it leads back to other independence, but this independence, unless this date, 1776, is a lie, that didn't happen, and they just slipped that in there and do it. Satan does a lot of 2-card, 3-card mileage, but we in captivity, and there's a line that you can't cross with these customs, y'all, because we can't get away from the customs. Now, what I'm talking about is the point of where it reigns in your body and it dominates, and then you start to forget your holy days, and this is what has happened to us. Right. Once we start getting on the regular where we know Pentecost coming up, we know Rosh Hashanah coming up, we know Purim coming up. Once you start identifying that these days are coming up, these days won't even come to mind. You be like, what? They popping fireworks. Oh, it must be around that time for this nation. Right. But the reason we focus on these is because we don't know ours. Right. Ours are right around these, but these are in common. So we are banging these, but we are still left void. Right. Our house is still left void because we don't know our holy days. Right. We don't know when they are. We don't know how to. And the main thing is we don't know how to do it. But we know how they supposed to do them, and we tell them. But if they ask us, we can't be instant in season. Right. We can't be instant out of season and knowing what we got coming up next. What we got coming up next? We just had Pentecost. Tabernacle. That's what? September. We got 3 in a row coming up, 4 in a row. So you're going to get a little span from your holy days. Time to get prepared up for that. Y'all, these are the things we got to be throwing out there on them Facebook and everything. Pentecost coming up. This day coming up, y'all, so that we get used to it and that makes people go study it. Because sooner or later, somebody going to ask you about it. What's y'all day? How y'all supposed to be doing them according to Christ? Not the shadow, but according to Christ, how Christ wants you to do it. If you don't know, it's going to be some problems. So these civil days, 4th of July, you understand that now. Did they do some wicked stuff on that? Yeah, back in the slavery time, their entertainment was hanging black folks.
Right. What you said about old Jethro? Jethro, the oldest slave would get picked on 4th of July. They marched into town. Right. The time to the tree, and he would be the 4th of July spectacle for the day.
Right.
Right.
This would drove Nat Turner crazy. Because they would have the bestiality event too. And where they get a scrap of Hebrew, bring a pig or a cow out there, shut them britches down and handle your business. And he had to perform that before everybody, and they clapping and they clapping and having a good time, and he's into full bestiality.
How do you get entertained by that?
They're entertained by it. You ever seen them hanging photos when they children around and they smiling and they on fire and hanging the children smiling? They pose like you
said they used to get out of school to watch
So y'all, what we're talking about is these wicked things may be added to that. What we're saying is don't get caught up in this stuff. Don't get caught up in the madness of it because it's custom. But now, when Jeremiah 10,
come outside.
Don't be scared to come out. They don't rule that day. But what we are saying is, if your family member, you got to tell them, kind of pull them out. Look, I want you to learn more of our holy days than you get so focused in on this. I ain't got no money for fireworks. If these things cause you to break yourself, and then the next day you don't know how your light's gonna get turned back on because you just brought now you in error of their civil holiday. But these are the days that they use to say that Mark 7 is where they changed the law of God so that you do their day. Christmas. They say, no, these are civil days and social days. Now, the Father's Day and Mother's Day just went past. And back in Babylonia, this brother found the clay tablet. It's the only thing that I've seen so far that he wrote on there, may my father have a long and prosperous life. That was all that was wrote on there. Is that bad or good? Now, if that practice, if that card say, and you are worthy of the reverence of God, you've fallen into condemnation of that day. If you worship your mother like the Queen of Heaven, you have fallen into that day on a level, it's over the top. If you tell somebody, man, I'll do anything for my mama. Shit, I ain't gonna pay my rent to make sure she gets something. Hell, that's my mama. It's done went too far. At the next point, you'll say, I don't care what that Bible say when it comes down to my mama. Right. You done went too far. So these are social days. These are the ones we have to worry about to the point that they can call. These are what you bow down and serve because there's a body of notes to tell you how to do this. and they're wicked. They're all wicked notes because you got to bring this in, you got to do that, you got to tie that up, you got to bite on that, and do this, and then do all that. That's in these days. But these other here, if you don't want to do them, you don't have to do them, because this is what Paul get into the second, is that Colossians 2, a day or whatever else. Look, it said we can't judge on a level like that with one another. If you think it's that, if it's wrong, we got to find it in the law that it's wrong. And you have to be convinced in your own mind. It's some things that we do. Some people say, well, I ain't going to eat fast food at all, since they cook it on a grill that swine may be cooking on. You may say, well, man, the script say if we pray over the righteous food because we ain't controlling nothing, we in our captivity. You know, as long as they put beef over my part, because if that's the case, ain't no need you going to eat pizza no more. Because they put it in the same oven. But if you ask for a hamburger, turkey, pizza, whatever else, you pray over the ask Most High to remove the impurity. You're not praying over ham. You're not praying over shrimp. You're not praying over abominable things. You're praying over the good meat and asking him to clean the impurity out. Yeah, but some may say, well, I just won't eat fast food at all. Now, so who's wrong or who's right? Neither is wrong or right, because you're in a position of captivity. Now, if we was at home where every shopkeeper know the rules and supposed to have it like that, there should be no error or fault in it. If we got to be on that line, we got to cut fast food, period. You got, and even when you go to the grocery store,
right? All our food is supposed to be kosher.
Right.
It's also, how do you know your food?
How do you know it's kosher? Because it said on the label.
Right.
Then you got some different rules to try.
So, and this is the main thing, y'all. And when we get to these, the major things. See, these are the problems. We kind of focusing on the ones that come once a year, but we are doing customs every weekend, and we're going to do one, the fellas most likely, when it comes up in August, is called football. If you look up the origin of that, football, right, it goes back to the Olympic god, Olympius, and all of them, these was done that thing, but they done them to the death. They killed to the death. Baseball, all of these that we do every day. We wear jerseys with things, and we are doing these things every day. If we talk about Jeremiah 10, we got to be ready to answer everything. And some may say, well, do you watch football? Where did that origin come from? See, when you start talking origin, everything has an origin in the nation of captivity. If we look up football, the origins of football, basketball, and when in Second Maccabees they say, and then they built arenas.
Yeah, a lot of
what goes on in arenas? Gladiator sports.
You used to have them running around naked.
Our boys fighting tonight. Huh? At what arena? The St. Charles Arena. Right. The only difference between now and then is they fought to the death. Didn't nobody go home. Right. One man didn't go home. Right. They fought to the death, or they would throw him in there with lines. That's the root of what we're doing now. So we can't cross lines, and how we don't cross lines like that is become what's called a fan, which is short for fanatic. When you become a fanatic, and to this point, your favorite guy, he can't do no wrong. You know, LeBron James, your favorite guy, but now he's doing a Christmas commercial with the Christmas hat on, and he's doing all that, but you playing a little favoritism. You know, but that's my boy. King James. And they have the same days that they do these things on certain days. The Super Bowl is always done on the 3rd, 2nd, or Sunday. Baseball, they set these dates for a reason, y'all. If we get caught up in that custom, y'all, we can't go across the line as well as any of these other customs, y'all, because we are focusing on the ones that we don't partake in. But the ones that we do on a regular basis, we ain't paid nary a mind to. When you wearing a jersey with a devil emblem on it, and you saying, this is my team, who are you part of a team of? That's the custom of this land. Football on Sunday. It supersedes church. They let church out early. So they can get home for this feast. And what you got? Food, beer, wine.
TVs in the church. They have Super Bowl party in the church now.
Y'all, so we have to be careful that just arm yourself up in case somebody may ask you about that origin and you able to explain it. Because if you tell them they can't do it, they can't touch it, they can't do nothing, they may throw this at you. And all I'm doing is throwing them at you.
And them Nikes you got on your feet.
And we know Nike was the Greek sports guy. And he rules all your favorite athletes.
Right. Jordan.
Nike running. Jordan, everybody loves Jordan, but what's his symbol? Be like Mike and do what? How you be like Mike?
I'd rather
what you do? You wear his shoes, don't you? What's on his shoes? What's the difference between that and bringing a tree in your house? None. And that's why Paul tells us, if you see a Christmas tree, don't trip off of it. They can't do you no harm. Ain't no power in it. You have to give it out. Because we in this land, y'all. Joseph was made governor, second in command in Egypt, and he handled all Pharaoh's affairs. Do you think those affairs were all Hebrew? Or was he a governor of the land? A governor, just like is next to the president, all the governors in the United States is next person to the president. He was the governor of Egypt. So they had their days too if everything we get comes from Egypt. So it had to be a way he was dealing with that. And guess what he was dressed like? Because when his brothers came, what they say? They didn't recognize that Egyptian was rough. That was a mean old black ugly. No, that was your brother. You just didn't know. Go ahead, bro.
I'm saying, because I know we all take this seriously, but because we don't want to recognize they holidays and stuff no more, just because we know what's right for it. We know
that's right.
We try to find out our own.
And be prepared to answer. Look, they'll go away once you know yours to the left.
I'm saying, but I don't need to, because I like sports.
That's what we talking about. You got kids that play sports.
That's what we saying.
You know, do we cut all that off because you got them in old tradition?
No, like Lot was in Sodom and Gomorrah and seen all this, but he wasn't affected with the worship of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
This is going on.
And that's what we talking about.
And you don't see stuff that's against the script.
And this is the biggest worshiper right here. This one. This one actually says, "In God we trust." What God you talking about with this one? How did we live without this? We can live without it in the wilderness at that time because we're going to be fed spiritually. But how do we live without this right now? It's something to live out, but you can call begging. But a popular say a beggar's life is not worth a life. Poor and begging, two different things. Begging is you don't have a plan on paying it back or giving it back. Poor is when I get on my feet, I'm going to straighten you out. But a beggar is a beggar. That means he ain't got no plan. That's how he make his money. You begging you. Hey, brother, can you spare a little change? Brother asked me the other day. Can you spare a little change? I said, I ain't got no change. He said, what about a dog? And he like, so y'all, just, and the last thing, y'all, so y'all, I'm just saying this because the question is going to be asked. These questions are going to be asked us. And if it's like you showing favoritism to your custom, and you telling them they can't do theirs, it makes you as a hypocrite. You got to be able to decipher that and understand and explain where we are at. We are in the kingdom of lust. And Satan has got it fixed that nobody is void to it as long as you don't become the word when we come out of the wilderness and you say what we read in that Exodus 14, that Numbers 14, we should have stayed in Egypt.
Okay, so just to summarize it, American holidays like Christmas, Easter, that's don't need
Halloween and Halloween.
Now, civil and social in moderation to a point, like Mother's Day and 4th of July. As long as you're not consuming it, it's all right.
Understand what that day is specifically. Look at the origins of it. And look at how it is crossing the line. Because Most High say everything we serve God and bow down and worship Him. You have to do that to be serving Satan. Satan don't do part-time service. Satan is not lukewarm in his ritual of serving him. Satan won't worship like Christ. He's an imitator of Christ. Christ has laws, Satan has laws. And when you study Satan's laws, he will tell you, now get on your knees. What did we just read what he told Christ, didn't he? What did he tell Christ? Bow down. So these things, y'all have to understand these things, y'all. You can't get caught up in them and find, because that's what we do. We'll spend all our money to make our children happy, and you can't do it. You got to explain to them what it is and tell them, don't you get caught up in this madness. The same way our parents tell us when you go out there, go on out there. Now, if you get in trouble, call me if it's along these lines. But if you get in trouble for stealing or killing somebody, don't you call her. Don't call her. So if you go out there and get caught up in these feast days, don't call the Most High.
Don't forget Valentine's Day, bro.
Because he ain't gonna hear you calling